first video. Welcome to my channel, guys. My name is Christin, aka Stay Hype, and Hype stands for Heighten Your Personal Experience, which is what I'm here to help you do. I am your spiritual awakening coach, your energy healer, your light worker, all of the above. Everything that makes you feel good and strong and anything good. I'm gonna help you find that within yourself. So I do need to do a video, kind of introduce myself, and I just don't feel like doing that right now. But if you go onto my Instagram or my TikTok, you can get to know me a little bit there. But for this first video, I thought it was only appropriate to talk about the 8 stages of a spiritual awakening from my perspective. You'll find different videos that may be 5 stages, 6 stages. I broke it down into 8 stages, and if you see me looking over here, I'm just looking at my laptop. I have my notes because there's a lot to go over. Spiritual awakening, first of all, what the heck is it? If you're here looking at this video, if you found me, that means that you just realized that you're going through a spiritual awakening probably, or you're slowly waking up right now, or you're fully awake and you're just like, what the heck's going on with me? Why am I feeling this way? So that's probably how you found me, which is amazing because I'm excited to guide you through this process. So I had my awakening. Well, I slowly started to have my awakening. Just a little background, back in 2018, slowly started waking up, quit my corporate job, moved across the country. Anything that you hear cliche that has to do with a spiritual awakening, I did it, okay? As far as just all these revelations and realizations. So 2018, slowly started waking up from my slumber. From Florida originally, moved to LA, quit my job in banking, became a personal trainer because I knew I wanted to help people, even though I knew it wasn't exactly where I was gonna, end up. But became a personal trainer, went through a whole bunch of stuff that it's gonna be its own separate video of my own spiritual awakening and journey, because there's a lot to go over, and that's gonna be a longer video, and I'm not emotionally prepared yet. So yeah, but fast forward to February 2021, it was when I actually fully life, just the awakening, boom, punched me in the throat, and I woke up fully to everything. And it was because of a really significant relationship. One of the most significant, intimate relationship that I'd ever been in. And just so much stuff happened, which that's going to be its own video too. But that's what fully woke me up to my behaviors and just everything that I've been doing. So now I'm awake. We're up to speed. So you are awake. Now what? What am I doing? What's happening? I know something's going on and it's hard for me to talk about it, right? Not a lot of people really can resonate. You don't even resonate with what's going on. So trust me, I get it. It's a very isolating and lonely feeling if you don't have a coach, but you do. Me. So before I even get into the stages, I do want to let you guys know that this is not linear. Obviously, healing is not linear, and your spiritual awakening, the stages that I'm about to name out, definitely are not linear, and they're not in any specific order. So just know that you can be in several stages at once. You can be overlapping in those stages. Some stages can last for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. It just depends on the amount of healing that you have to do, your trauma, and how much you're willing to really go deep and face your trauma and your fears head on. Because as we all know, well, maybe not, that's why we're suppressing this stuff in the first place. It's scary. We don't want to open the Pandora's box of all the things that we have been running from our entire life. But now that we're awake, I'm sorry to tell ya, you can no longer run. You can't unsee it. It's a blessing and a curse, expanding your consciousness, but mostly a blessing. Actually, it's all a blessing. All right, so enough of that. Let's get into it. So stage 1. Waking up. Literally. It's that moment when you're kind of done with your bullshit. You're done running from it. You have been knowing there's been something up. You've known for a while, even if you're not really conscious to it. You've known All right, something's going on. I am tired of every single relationship being toxic. I'm tired of not really going for my goals when it comes to my dreams and my passions. Why don't I feel really super excited or really happy about life? How come I don't feel like my relationships, like even friendships or with my parents, are really like where I am pretending it is? There's a lot that comes with the waking up. You're just like kind of becoming self-aware, if you will. So stage 1 is just waking up and finally you stop running. So stage 2, truth seeking. What do I mean by that? All the questions. What really happened in my childhood? What was my relationship like with my mom and dad actually when I sit and think about it? How did I really feel growing up? Instead of just I was great, I had a fine, I was normal. How did I actually feel? Why do I keep finding myself in these same relationships? Is the common denominator me? Why am I attracting this? So the truth seeking, you want to know the truth. You're done running from it. You're done being scared. You're done looking the other way, being ignorant to your self-destructing behaviors, your toxic behaviors. You're done being the victim and blaming everybody. You just want to know the truth. What is going on? What has been going on my whole life? What have I been avoiding? What have I been running from? What is the truth about me, myself? Who am I? What do I stand for? Are these thoughts and beliefs really mine? A lot of questions in this phase. So for me, it was very overwhelming because it was just so much at once. I'm 35 years old, and my full awakening happened last year. So I was 34 years old when it happened. So it's 34 years worth of just unconsciousness, of just going through life on autopilot, that now I'm like, okay, I need the answers to this. What's going on? So stage 2, truth seeking, can be very overwhelming. Just give yourself grace and compassion and time and patience, because it's just going to be a lot at once that your brain is starting to compute and process. And it's very overwhelming because 9 times out of 10, the stuff that's you're processing is very triggering, very tender, very emotional, very vulnerable. And these are all emotions that you clearly haven't been used to expressing or identifying or dealing with, which is why you're just not dealing with it, but it's okay. So it can be very overwhelming, this stage. Totally normal. Just breathe and give yourself grace and compassion. So stage 3. The stage is more difficult, and you've probably heard about it. If you haven't, there's 2 different terms. So dark night of the ego, but more commonly known as dark night of the soul. I like to say ego because I feel like it's our ego that is there to protect us, but it's our ego that has gotten us here into this point where we are going through life unconscious. Our ego is protecting us. It's not allowing us to really be honest with ourselves. It's not allowing others to be honest with us. So the ego is there to protect us, but in the same sense, it's actually harmed us because it is, allowed us to kind of be asleep, not kind of, and it's allowed us to be asleep to our behavior and the things that we really need to heal within ourselves. And it's allowed us to do a lot of projecting, a lot of victimization, or victim, being the victim. And so in a way, it's kept us from growing. And so dark night of the ego is ego death. We are finally looking at ourselves in the mirror and seeing things for what they really are and who we really are. We're also seeing our family members and our partners, our best friends, our friendship circle, everyone around us for who they really are. We're no longer lying to ourselves just to keep the friendships and keep the relationships. We are going very much inward, going to those dark places. This is where shadow work, I'm sure if you've heard of that, you're going to hear a lot of this shadow work. Inner child work, where we really bring up those really tender, fragile, scary memories that we have locked down so deep within us because they've caused us so much pain. And if we acknowledge them and confront them, maybe our relationships with our parents will change, or maybe our relationships with our friends will change. And change is so scary as humans. We don't like it. We like to be comfortable. But what we don't realize is that we quickly adapt and we're resilient, and actually change is the exact same thing that we need to grow and be better. So, dark night of the ego, it's a very somber energy that you're going to be in. It's very dark, very heavy. All those repressed emotions of anger, sadness, guilt, shame, those low vibrational energies are all going to come up to the surface here. You know, it's not comfortable. It isn't, but it's about getting uncomfortable to get through this phase and be brave enough to face your fears and to face them head on, and to ask the uncomfortable questions to your parents, or just to allow yourself to really get to those dark places that we have been running from for so long. It's in those dark places that we are able to find the light and shine our light. So once we shine the light on the things that we have been hiding and running from and so scared of being judged because we're judging ourselves, we then wake up and realize there's nothing to be scared of anymore. I'm not the only one struggling. In fact, everyone is struggling, and I don't need to shove these things down anymore. So it's purging, lots of tears and crying and anger, and just one day you'll be fine, totally going through your day, and then the next moment you might just burst into tears, and just know that that's totally okay. Let it be a yes. Let anything that you feel from now on, from this point on, not even just in this stage, from this point on, when you get done watching this video, allow everything and anything that wants to come to the surface, emotion-wise, be a yes. Allow it. You need it. You deserve it. You're worthy of it. And it's not bad. So dark night of the ego is just breaking down those barriers, getting comfortable with accepting that you have some flaws and things to work on. But at the end of this, you'll realize that the flaws and everything that you're scared of are actually your superpower, and actually what make you the beautiful person that you are today. Okay? So dark night of the ego, heavy, heavy time, and it could last a couple weeks, couple months, couple years. It all depends on what you need to sift through, and how intentional you are, and how serious you are about your healing, and how much time that you dedicate to your healing. So it's up to you. So it's different for everyone. Detaching from persona, or letting go of your identity. Stage 4. This one was quite challenging for me to get started. Quite challenging. So letting go of your ego, or you're not your ego, your persona, your identity. So what many of us don't realize is our personality, our persona, our identity is built in childhood. And it's usually 9 times out of 10 not authentic. It's our beliefs and paradigm that we see the world through our parents, what they say, how they feel, how they experience the world. We're very heavily influenced by our parents, our siblings, by our friend circle, society, TV. So our personalities are actually built by external factors. And of course, there's definitely parts of you that are you and what you believe in and at your core, but a lot of how we act and how we adapt is just that. As children, we adapt. So if we don't feel like if our true self is not being accepted by our friend circle, or our parents are not emotionally equipped or accepting of our personality and our emotions, we quickly learn to change our true selves in order to get that acceptance. Because in childhood, being accepted by our parents is literally a lifeline to us. We don't have the capacity mentally from ages 0 to 7 to really rationalize what's going on. So we internalize everything. So when you are detaching from that persona, what is really happening is you are just breaking away of all the beliefs and the limited beliefs and the things that you think about yourself, the negative thoughts, the intrusive thoughts that you feel and that you're hearing in your head and that you think about yourself, all that is falling to the wayside. What's also falling to the wayside is the fact that you thought you wanted to be a doctor your whole life, but then you come to realize, no, it's actually my dad that wanted me to be a doctor. I actually really love playing music. So I think that's what I need to do. But it's easier said than done when you've built an identity around being a certain thing or a certain status, having a certain job, having certain money, being in a relationship, whatever it is that you've attached your identity to. When you have to let go of that, it's so freaking scary. It's so scary because you're like, people know me by being a doctor. People know me by being a personal trainer in my example, in my experience. Being a personal trainer was how people knew me, posting the videos of fitness and doing everything. But all along while I was doing personal training and fitness, I loved it, but I knew it wasn't something that deeply resonated with me to the point where I wanted to just throw my all into it. I gave it about 65%, 75%. And I love my clients and I love what I was doing, but I knew that if personal training and fitness was something that I really, to my core, thought I wanted to do for the rest of my life, how come I'm not putting my all into it? And so as I started going through stage 4, the identity, I really had to get real and realize, no, this is not something that I really want to do my whole life. I actually want to go deeper with people. I actually want to help heal people at a more internal spiritual level. This is what's resonated with me and what has always resonated with me. I've always loved talking. I've always been a healer. Oh, this is my identity. And actually, it's not an identity that I'm attaching to a certain job. It's just me being authentic. This is just who I am. This is me, my identity. This is my purpose. This is what I love. So fitness is a job. It was something that I did. It wasn't who I am. And so I think so many of us, this one's really big when it comes to us leaving our jobs and leaving careers that don't serve us, that actually make us sick, that actually make us so unhappy. I don't want my reality to be every day waking up for work and being like, oh, another day, another dollar. That's not, why is this our reality and why have we accepted that? So anyway, that's another video in the future that I'm going to go over with you guys when it comes to your reality and how you create it and how you are just accepting mediocre. No, another video. But detaching from your identity is a big part of it. It's inevitable. So you're going to start experiencing stuff like, I used to get up every day and love to go for a run. Now I don't feel like going for a run every day. I used to think that my political affiliation was this, and this, but I don't really think I agree with that. I used to identify so much with Christianity or Catholicism or whatever, religion. But now I don't think I really resonate with that either. And then you start to realize that a lot of your identity is not really your identity at your core, and it's those around you, and that you've accepted and adapted to a version of yourself that was going to be acceptable because you wanted external validation. But then you see that external validation just doesn't fulfill us, and we're always chasing it. And when you get tired of chasing and running, letting go of that identity is the only way to really find that true happiness within yourself. So, stage 4, detaching from your persona. Let it go, babies. Stage 5, self-discovery, curiosity. Stage 5, what do you like now? Now that we've kind of let go of everything that we realize doesn't resonate with us, no longer serves us, what do we like? Who am I? In this stage, it was awesome, it was cool, but I felt very lost, very disconnected to everything, myself, the world, just everything. I was very curious about myself, and I was relearning who I was, and I was just very curious. And what I found out during this stage is that I'm a poet, that I'm a writer, that I am very, very sensitive, that I'm very empathic, that I'm very powerful, I'm very intuitive. I have certain needs and wants and relationships that are non-negotiable that, I didn't understand, which was making all my relationships fail. I understand my trauma. I understand why I work the way I work, why I am the way I am, why I have relationships, the type of relationships that I do. what I stand for, my mission, my purpose, this all started coming to fruition during stage 5 of getting curious. And you know why? It's because I let go of everything else in stage 4 that wasn't serving me, that was taking up space, and it wasn't allowing me to actually sit and think about the things that I do like. What does make me happy? What is my passion? And sitting still. I didn't get a chance to mention that, but through all these periods, sitting still and meditation saved me. And it was the one thing that gave me all the answers, was sitting still, because all the answers are within. So talking about curiosity, talking about self-discovery, it doesn't happen out there. It happens within. And people are searching for happiness in all the wrong places. It's here. It's in your heart. It's what fuels you. It's what you're passionate about. It's being authentic. That's how we get to the bottom of this whole pursuit of happiness, is by looking inward. It's the relationship with yourself. So getting curious, which is usually the phase or the stage where we uncover our gifts and our passions, and then we start to realize that we've always had these passions, we just forgot about them, or we were just told that they're just a hobby and we forget about them, and then we go after the things that our parents or society say are acceptable to make the money that we need, or to have the status that will make us be validated, right? But all along, we're unhappy because we're not being ourselves. So money, all status, that doesn't make you happy. All right, so we are moving right along. Stage 6 is rebirth. What kind of human being are you? Who are you at your core without being influenced by other energies? And this is where the rebirth comes in, where you start to kind of dabble and step into speaking your truth, being authentic, done with the people pleasing, starting to say no when you want to say no, starting to really remember who you are. Rebirth. Because you're not finding yourself. You aren't finding yourself. You were never lost. You just forgot. You just forgot. So it's just that rebirth, being born again, because we're born whole, perfect, worthy, complete, right? We're already born that way. So it's not like something happens where all of a sudden you're less than, or just taking. We just forget. We forget, and we give away our power, and we give away parts of ourselves that make us feel incomplete. So the rebirth and all these stages are about finding those pieces again, finding your joy, and then stepping into it and living it, integrating it. So rebirth, discovering yourself and really stepping into that person. This is a really fun stage. Stage 7 is the soul growth. Soul growth. So you're starting to really live the spiritual lifestyle. You're meditating the modalities that, really resonate with you, that you will find out through these other stages of like meditation, breath work, sound baths, energy healing, Reiki. You'll start to kind of gravitate towards these spiritual practices that expand your consciousness and really help you connect with yourself on a deeper level, because that's what this journey is, the journey of self, connecting to oneself and realizing that God is within you, and that you are part of God, and that you're powerful, and that you are co-creating your life with God. So your soul growth is where you start figuring out a way to make a living and live your truth by stepping into your purpose. Living your purpose, you realize that your passion and desire to be authentic and be of service to the world is so much greater than your fear now at this point, and that you know that God put you here for a reason, and that you have to do it. You got to go through with it. So that soul growth is really, we've already identified the limiting beliefs. We already know, we have a handle on our trauma, and it's integrating it, taking action, living it. The fear and the doubt and the thoughts are never going to go away. We always have our triggers. They're programmed into us. We reprogram it. They get softer and softer and softer, but it's still taking action anyway. Okay, ego, yep, I may not be good enough, I may not be smart enough, but actually I am. Thank you for still showing up. But I know my soul, I'm made for this. So I'm still going to take action anyway. Having the courage to push through and the perseverance to know and the faith to know that you're going to be taken care of. The abundance and everything you're trying to manifest will come into play once you align with your higher self and integrate what you already know into your 3D. You already know this, okay? And the last, stage 8, is the new you. You start embodying the person that you know you are right now, today, when you turn off this video. Let's go. Your higher self, what you know you're supposed to be doing, how you want to act, how you're supposed to show up in relationships, going for your dreams, starting that business, embodying that divine being that you are. So going through all the stages, healing, confronting your childhood trauma, doing the shadow work, and integrating that and becoming the person that you've always been from the very beginning. And living a life of intention and purpose and happiness. It's all there for you guys. It's all there. You just have to be brave enough to sit still and listen. So those are the 8 stages. I am so excited to finally be doing this. This is something that I wanted to do for a very, very long time. But of course, I have my own limited beliefs and things that I've been healing. And it's taken me a year to get here. I do have a podcast, which I'm going to link below. Me and my dear friend Michelle have a podcast together. It's called The Elephant in the Room. And we already have 1 season under our belt. It is all about healing and our experience. We're completely transparent. So if you want to get to know me a little more there, I'll link that below. And also, I don't know what my schedule is going to be or what. I'm just going with it. I know that I need to put myself out there. I know I have something to say. So I just want to encourage you that, you know, if you feel called, even already, if you're just waking up and you're just starting your journey and you're feeling called to just start talking about it, do it. Speak your truth. Speak your truth. So many of us are silenced and we have a lot of wisdom and a lot of things that we can say, but we let fear and doubt and imposter syndrome and all those things deter us. You have something to say. Your voice matters, and everyone is on a different part of their journey. And just because you're just waking up and just because you're new doesn't mean that you can't add value to someone's life and help someone. So just wanted to leave you with that encouragement. I'm talking to myself. My first video, more to come as I kind of navigate through this. I'll get more on a schedule. But side note, it wasn't that bad. I did it. You can do it too. And I can't wait to help guide you guys through this as I guide myself through it and be on this journey of enlightenment and consciousness together as a collective. We need each other. If you're watching this, you're special. You have something to give the world and you know it. And we're ready for you. I love you guys. See you next week. Maybe. I don't know when the schedule is. I'm nervous now. Let me get off.